Shaun King's brought to us by Mazda, moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. And with that, we welcome in our former quarterback, Shaun King, to the show. Shaun, how you doing today, my friend?
Dressed up fancy today.
Professional.
What you got?
Hey, you ready to go, man? We're gonna get right to this. Mary Kay said something, and I want to get your perspective as a former offensive coordinator and play caller. She said specifically, which I agree, the quarterback competition stunted some growth. Now, when you have Joe Flacco and you give him Pickett the majority of the reps, and then you jettison Pickett off and he ain't on the roster, then the young guys don't get reps or not even throwing the guys, and then you end up with Joe Flacco kind of, playing a little bit the last part of the preseason, and now it looks like, well, the receivers ain't on the same page, timing is wrong. How much time do you believe it takes for a guy to get ready in the preseason and play football games? And do you think the Browns fumbled the bag on a quarterback competition that was a fake quarterback? It was fake news.
Well, G. Bush, you are officially my spirit animal, because I was going to actually piggyback on that point that Mary Kay made. Shout out to Mary Kay, one of the best in the business, by the way. She said, and I think I'm quoting her correctly, hopefully Coach Stefanski and the Browns learn that you can't have a 4-person quarterback competition. I'm going to contextually align that with my opinion last week. For those that didn't watch, that aren't on social media, you should be. Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, one of the best shows in the country. I said they should move away from Joe Flacco, not because I think Flacco was not capable on some levels, but because I think the ceiling is so low this season for the Browns. They need to find out what they have in Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. You asked me as a coordinator, the reason I would never have a 4-man competition, if we've only got 12 plays a team in practice, how in the hell do I fairly divide up 12 reps? Thinking that 4 or 5 of them are run plays anyway. Now I don't get a chance to really see what I have. What am I really evaluating? That's what they're doing now. They're not going to win this year because they're not that good. So you might as well get a large sample size of Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, so at the end of the year, you can better evaluate what you have. You might not have what you think is a franchise quarterback, but you might have what you think is a very good safety net as a backup. You might come away thinking, you know what, we got a franchise quarterback. We can look in other directions in how to build a team. But they've got to find out. And you're not going to find out with both of those guys sitting on the sideline for the majority of the season.
Shaun, I completely agree with you. I would play Dillon Gabriel this week, but they won't, unfortunately. What would you say to the people, and this drives me crazy, I'm curious your take on this. What would you say to the people who say, he's not ready yet? This could ruin his career because the Packers have a good defense. What would you say to those people?
So this is all about leadership, guidance, and expectation, right? And she also talked about Stefanski being kind of colorless, in his post-pre, during the week interview sessions. This is where I think he has to come out and be the leader of the organization and say, we're not giving up on the season, but we have 2 talented young quarterbacks that we want to get experience. We want to find out what they're capable of handling from a success standpoint, from a failure standpoint. We're not as worried about how they're playing versus Green Bay and Detroit the next 2 weeks. We want to see, are they playing better as we get into December with Chicago and Buffalo. That's what playing these guys early is about. Not going out there with the expectation that Dillon Gabriel is going to become the next reincarnation of Steve Young, or that Shedeur Sanders is going to become like the next reincarnation of Legendary, like he invented that himself. You just want to start the process of them getting better, right? You want to start the process of them getting better. And if you're honest with your fan base, you're honest with your locker room, they'll embrace that.
Right.
Listen, we got to rally around these guys. One of these guys could be the future of this organization, but they've got to play them to find out. You're not going to find out them standing on the sideline. And as long as they're standing on the sideline, what could possibly happen outside of Joe Flacco getting injured that would make you transition from they're not ready now to they are ready in 4 weeks?
Dang, that was
Damn
clip
right.
that.
Damn right.
I'm gonna use that. That is the greatest. Them talking points is dead.
Let's
I got
go.
that on repeat.
Shaun,
Let's go.
Let me ask you about another quarterback that's not even with the Browns, Jackson Dart, right? So there was all this talk about they want Jackson Dart to be the starter. When you was evaluating his game coming out, did you really believe that he was a first-round pick? Because I'm trying to figure out how the Browns, if you did feel that way, I'm trying to figure out how the Browns overlooked that and we landed with Dillon and Shador instead of a Jackson Dart.
Who did you took Mason, the D tackle from Michigan,
Yeah.
Yes.
early, and then you have another second-round pick.
Schlesinger.
Another first-round pick.
No, they got another first-round pick next year by trading down.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went D-line. Can't really argue with that. I think Mason's got a chance to be a really good player. But I did the quarterback clips on the show. I had Jackson Dart rated really high. I thought he was a first-round caliber quarterback. He's athletic. He's big. I personally know some people at Ole Miss. So, like, he's one of those kids that kind of gets it. The guys like him. You know, a perfect personality-wise, he's a lot like Baker Mayfield. Like, you know, Baker's a guy you like when you're around Baker, you know.
Yeah.
It took him a couple of failures in order to become the Baker we saw last night that's turned into one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. But I love Jackson's skill set. I think he's got a huge advantage on maybe some of even Baker, for instance, because he's older. Because of COVID and the different things in place in college now, these guys are a little older in the last couple drafts at the position. The Giants are in a different situation than the Browns. The Giants think with adequate quarterback play that they're a division title contender. Potential, if not win the division, wild card caliber team. Now, whether or not that's accurate or not, that's internally what they believe. So they think Russell Wilson can manage the situations enough to put them in that position. So I understand why they would start Russ over Jackson Dart. To me, that's not applicable with Cleveland because there's no way you can be honest with yourself and look at this offense and think that, okay, this is an NFC North title contending team from a talent standpoint. I repeat, the only time in Jerry Judy's career he's looked like a number one receiver was with who? Jameis Winston.
You was right about that. That was wild.
Yeah, speaking of which, there's talks of Jameis getting traded to the Bengals, which
Well, they just signed 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, they did? I didn't even see
No,
that.
that was from a fake reporter. Jay got in the group chat.
Which?
The Jameis Winston.
Oh, that was fake?
Fake reporter.
Mike
Which
White and
the
Sean
Bengals
King.
are not the type of team that goes and trades for a veteran quarterback, but whatever.
By the way, just to that point.
Yeah.
By the way, just to that point. Of course, he's not Joe Burrow, but in defense of Browning, he's actually played pretty darn good.
He's fine.
In
I'd
the
stick with him.
situations where he's had to replace Burrow, I'll be honest, he's actually played pretty good.
Yeah, he played. He threw 2 picks, but I went back. I watched the second half of that game. I thought he played pretty well. He rallied them back. They were down the whole game. But Shaun, I want to talk about Baker for a minute because you just mentioned Baker, and I was someone who was very hard on Baker when he was here. I was frustrated by him. I didn't like. What's that?
You miss him?
It's not that I miss him. I got to give the guy his due respect. You said he's a top 10 quarterback. You're right. I mean, there's really no debating that. I thought he was immature here. And on the field, my biggest concern is he threw way too many interceptions. Early in his career, he was terrible at turning over the ball. And in the last year and change, he's kind of gotten over that. He's gotten much better at it. And he seems way more mature. My question is, did he need to have that failure the last year here and that disastrous season where he was in Carolina and this team and that team? Did he need that to become this player, or could it have happened here?
Baker's success is about opportunity, meaning real self-evaluation. Whether or not he would have got to the real self-evaluation part as a Cleveland Brown, I don't know. I would be guessing, but it's why I'm so hard on Shador. It's why I'm so hard on Caleb Williams, because they may not get the opportunities Baker got. There are a lot of first-round picks that don't succeed initially that never get the chance to go to Carolina as a starting quarterback and then end up, I think he started a game with, was it the Rams?
Rams, yeah.
And then get a whole nother opportunity to go to Tampa without even really being in a competition. Like, that's not guaranteed. Yep. So, like, that's why I'm so, vocal publicly about Caleb and Shador doing the self-evaluation part right now, so that when you get the opportunity for Shador, and as you have the opportunity for Caleb, you go ahead and take advantage of it now. So what Baker's been able to do is tremendous. I mean, he plays with such a confidence and a flair that it's contagious. People don't know the Bucs were down like 3 starting no linemen last night. And Baker just stayed back there, made play after play. The protection wasn't perfect, but guess what? His energy was. And they kept grinding, they kept pounding the rock, and they found a way to win a tough game on the road.
Shaun, you just talked about Baker overcoming the offensive line. This past week, since this game, the offensive line has been the topic of conversation. Yeah. Is it really that bad when you watch it? Or do you think that the quarterback, Joe, just not getting the ball out in a timely manner? Or is the play call bad? Which one is it? What do you think?
First of all, shout out to the jersey. Jordan's the GOAT for sure. I want to say this, and I want to be very clear. But put me on the 2 box where I can see the entire panel, please.
Oh, here we go.
I want to be very clear when I say this. Bad offensive line play is the biggest crutch in the entire National Football League for below average quarterback play. There's not one offensive line in the National Football League right now that gives their quarterback all day to throw the ball on a consistent basis. It doesn't happen. Look at how good Matthew Stafford is, and his offensive line is, boy, they average as average can be right now. But he beats you with timing, quick release, getting the ball out. The Baltimore Ravens offensive line isn't great. Lamar beats you with athleticism. The Buffalo Bills offensive line isn't great. Josh Allen beats you with a combination of both. You've got to figure out how to manufacture your pass game when you know you're outbodied up front. The defensive linemen are so good in the National Football League, there is no good offensive line. Like, I challenge you right now. Give me one quarterback who just sits back there all day with no worries.
Don't happen.
I can't think off the top of my head. I can't think of any.
You're going to get some pressure.
Tom Brady did it.
I'm going to ask you this, too. Well, since we piggybacking that, I see the all-22, and I'm going to just be clear. I hate our offense. I hate the concept. I don't like it. I just see a bunch of sit-down routes. Look, let's I don't see I don't see no combinations where you'd be like, oh my goodness, you see how he dialed that one up? He isolated this dude and had him running across motion, and he came back and I just see regular drive concepts, just dagger, stick. I don't know what they're running offensively, and it seemed like the offensive line, there's times where they're supposed to double team and get to the backside linebacker, and they just leave the linebacker. I'm like, you didn't even get the backside. I don't know. I'm confused. Do you like it? I don't know. If you were a defensive coordinator, would you see the Cleveland Browns offense and say that aspect of what they do really threaten us?
So let me answer it like this. To me, the great play callers in the National Football League are able to pivot from year to year because your personnel is always evolving. Like what might have been a strength at one point may not be a strength now. I don't think Stefanski's ever pivoted from prime Nick Chubb, where they had all the investment on the offensive line, draft capital and contractually. And they could just line up and bludgeon people and run Nick Chubb and still be successful offensively. He hadn't really pivoted from that. And I think a lot of it's personnel. And I don't mean to take a shot at the offensive personnel for Cleveland, but where would you rank their group of pass catchers in the league? I mean, they're
Last.
probably bottom 5 or 6.
Last.
So, I mean, you look at these plays around the league, and I heard the conversation about motion, but that was Zay Flowers in motion. Zay Flowers, if you give him any kind of advantage from a depth, angle, or positioning standpoint, he's going to route you up. Like, I haven't seen Mr. Tillman route anybody up.
At all.
I haven't seen Juke route anybody up. I haven't seen Njoku become an efficient route runner. If we're being 100, they got multiple problems right now, which is why I don't know why they're wasting the opportunity to find out what they have with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, because they're not going anywhere at all with Joe Flacco. And it's not a knock on Flacco, it's just where the organization is.
Button up Shaun King is different.
Yeah.
Button up Shaun King is different, especially with the top button. It's crazy. It's real concise.
Hey, Sean, last thing, Sean, the rookies, Quinshon Judkins and Harold Fannin, especially the offensive rookies, and even Dylan Sampson. What have you seen? I know Judkins only played one game, but what do you think of these guys so far?
Fannin is a kid that I thought had an opportunity to become in the league and have immediate success. You look at, Bowling Green, where he played at, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, his statistics there are unbelievable. The fact that he never left on an NIL deal to a bigger school, confirmed to me the caliber of player he can be. To be loyal to that program like that, with those numbers, I mean, that's pretty rare in 2025. Quinshon Judkins, he's going to get better and better as he gets his legs under him, as he gets familiar with the contact. I want to button up the segment with one overall big picture.
Okay.
You see a lot of injuries around the National Football League currently, right? You see a lot of sloppy play.
A lot. 6 quarterbacks hurt already.
They've got to reevaluate the preseason.
Huh.
In the old way it was, the starters played the first series of the first game. The starters played the first half of the second game. The starters played the first half and the first series of the third quarter in the third game. And then when game 1 came, you were physically and mentally prepared to go out and play 4 quarters. I just don't see a lot of teams that look prepared to go out and play 4 quarters. The tackling on defense is at an all-time worst. There might be 2 teams right now that I have confidence can get a guy on the ground in the open field, unless you have the level of athletes that Cleveland has at the skill spots, and then it's not as difficult. But for these teams that have these elite in-space guys, it's hard to make tackles right now.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these guys getting injured because they haven't worked their body up to be ready for the physicality.
Sean, great stuff as always, man. You're on a roll today. We appreciate it. Good stuff.
It must be happy
All right,
hour.
see y'all
All them
later.
shots you sending, boy.
Listen,
Happy hour.
It's 9 a.m. in Vegas.
I like